What is going on, guys? My name is Aiden Corley and welcome back to the channel. A lot of you have recently subscribed, and because of that we're going to be doing a kind of new video today. It's going to be our first ever tip video. I put a bunch of polls on my Instagram story to kind of just round off and see what y'all wanted to see next. And with that being said, it was a tip video. We're going to be doing the top 5 tips for Christian relationships, so let's get right into it. Alright, so I'm gonna bring my phone out. Don't worry, not texting anybody. And just gonna kinda have, I have a list. And we're gonna talk about each one and pretty much just why, biblical references, stuff like that. So, Christian relationships. I guess I should kinda explain mine a little, since you'd probably wanna know that I'm giving you good relationship advice. With that being said, I've been in a relationship with a beautiful, wonderful, godly girl named Brooke for the past almost 3 years now. We started dating in July of 2018. And everything has been great. Obviously, no relationship is perfect because no human is perfect and we live in an imperfect world. But along the way, we have grown, we have matured, and we've kind of come up with a bunch of different scenarios and tips that will help you out if you're in a new relationship as a Christian, or even as an adult or teen or anything like that. It translates over entirely. So, breaking the phone out, we're going to check out 5 tips for Christian relationships. And obviously the number one, the one that everybody knows, it is put God first. And we all know the verse. It says, "But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will be added to you." Leave down in the comments below what verse that is if you're paying attention in this video. But essentially, that is the essence of every Christian relationship, and it should be of every relationship, not only with friends or girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever gender you are watching this, but just in general. That's what our life should be, is to put God first in front of everything and everyone, because through him all things are possible, not through anyone else. So this was something that I kind of started off well in my relationship with. If you're a Christian, it's kind of like you don't yet value that person as much as you later are going to. Not to say that they aren't of any value, but when me and Brooke first started dating, my relationship with God was just starting to rise. I was just starting to go to church more. I was starting to listen to worship music. And with that being said, I just started dating Brooke. I didn't know a lot about her. I knew I really, really, really liked her, and really wanted to get to know her more. But at that point, my relationship with God had meant more to me than my relationship with Brooke. And I'll be honest, throughout our relationship, it's varied up and down until I figured this out. It's not like I didn't know it, I just kind of wasn't, focusing on it as much. But later on in the relationship, up until about a year ago, I realized that I was getting to the point to where I loved Brooke so much that my relationship with God was on that line of, do I love Brooke more than God, or do I love God more than Brooke? And you kind of have to reach into this place to remember what God has done for you that that person hasn't, which isn't a bad thing to do. It's just a realizing, remembering, recognizing kind of process. But always put God first in a relationship. It'll prosper. It'll just be so much better. It takes out a lot of complications, which we will be getting into in this video. All right. Tip 2, understand your relationship's role in glorifying God and work on it. A lot of the times when we start dating, we typically just think I'm dating that person. Me and that person are now, dating. We go out and hang out. We hang out with friends. People should know we're dating. And I agree, that is true. But at the same time, you got to think, why did God put this person in my life? And if he did put this person in my life, which he does, because, that's a good thing. A relationship is always a good thing, especially if it's working well. since he put this person in my life, how is it glorifying him? And is it glorifying him? And I think as soon as we realize what God's plan is for our relationship in the grand scheme of bringing him glory, and, there's a fly. Bringing him glory, it'll kind of set on track how we hold ourselves as a couple, how we hold ourselves in public, how we hold ourselves in situations, and how other people look at us because of those things. And that's something me and Brooke had to figure out, because when we first started dating, she was young, I was young, my life had totally just turned around. I was drinking and just a totally different, I was an awful person. So it took a while for me to realize that our relationship had more effect on other people on the outside of our lives than it had on us. Because I have countless people come to me, younger and older, that say, man, you and Brooke, y'all have a great relationship. Y'all are role models for relationships, and it seems like y'all are doing great. And the honest answer is we are, because we follow these tips. And as I said, we still struggle with stuff, but a lot of it is because we figured out what a godly relationship is supposed to kind of, interact with when it comes to daily and monthly and yearly things. So figure out what God's plan is for your relationship, and just kind of understand that you need to work on it and build it up. Like, as soon as we realize, like, okay, we're in the youth, me and Brooke are both leaders. I teach on Wednesdays and teach at retreats and stuff, and she sings on stage, and people are watching us. As soon as we realized that, and people were taking away from our relationship what we put into it, we realized that, okay, we need to hold ourselves to this standard, not only because we love each other and it's good for both of us, but because we have middle schoolers and high schoolers and even some younger adults that are looking up to us because they've never had a relationship that worked, or they've never seen someone our age that has a relationship that's mature enough to do the way it's doing. So think about that, look into it, and when you have established the knowledge of knowing what God has in store for your relationship, to the best of your ability, work on it. All right, tip number 3, have good accountability. If you hear me say this, it is the biggest one on this list, other than number 1, which is put God first. Accountability will be your best friend in a Christian relationship, and we all know why. It's not a big elephant in the room. If you're in a relationship and you are obviously attracted to that person, you're gonna wanna do stuff eventually if stuff starts to escalate. Me and Brooke will either not be home alone, because we've asked for her parents to not let us be home alone, because we'll be more inclined to do stuff, especially since we've been together for so long. And with that being said, I haven't done anything in a really long time. She hasn't ever done anything, and it's out of the respect for God, our relationship, and her parents that we continue to not do that. But with that said, accountability is huge. Try to not be home alone. If you go out and you're riding around or you're in public, try to not get secluded from people and hold each other accountable to it. That was a really big thing for us. Is I thought I was the only one that was struggling with it, and then we had talked about it and I found out she was too, and this whole time I hadn't really been encouraging her, like, hey, you got this, God's got you. We just got to pray about it together. We just got to walk in his spirit together and pray that, he takes this from us and he, gives us the strength to walk through this and end up getting married and, have a pure relationship. And it was when we started doing that it was less of a one-sided, like, kind of tilting, like where I was struggling and she wasn't, or she wasn't and I was, vice versa. I think I said that wrong, but we were working together, and it made things just a lot better to know that, okay, man, I'm not the only one that's struggling here. And another way that you can work on that, as I said, don't be home alone, but at the same time, like, let her friends hold you to a certain level of expectation. I know that when we first started dating, and even slightly now, it's gotten a little better, Brooke's best friend Noelle kind of rubbed me the wrong way because she was always wanting to be around. She was always wanting to hang out. And I love Noelle. If you're watching this, I love you. You're a great person. You're a great friend and a great friend to Brooke and I both. But when I had first started dating Brooke and Noelle was in our lives, now she's still in our lives, but she is in YWAM in California, serving the Lord over there, learning how to be a missionary. But when she was here, I took for granted the fact that she was always around us. I was like, man, I can't hang out with Brooke. I can't have personal time. It's hard to have personal time with the one you love when her best friend's over here trying to have her attention also. When I realized after she left, and even before she left, a good time before she left, that Noelle being there was a great way that God was using someone in our lives to hold us accountable to all the free time we had, to not end up us doing sexually immoral or impure things. So if he or she has a best friend that is always hanging out, obviously it's not bad to desire like free time with each other and personal time with each other. That's good. Those are things that are necessary. But every once in a while, or even so often, if their best friend wants to come and hang out, cherish that as an opportunity in a safe space where y'all aren't going to do anything. That's something I wish I would have heard at the beginning of the relationship, because I probably wouldn't have been as mean. But like I said, love Noelle. Great person. Next, we have number 4. It says, if you look for imperfections, you'll find them, so don't look for them in the first place. And once again, another verse that y'all are going to have to find. Drop it in the comments below. For all stumble in many ways. If anyone does not stumble in what he says, he is a perfect man, able to bridle the whole body as well. This is something that a lot of people look for when going into relationships. When we're going into a relationship, we're looking for the best possible person we can find. I think we forget that even though one person may fit us better than another, that's kind of the transition from a relationship that didn't work into one that you're willing to marry, they're still imperfect beings, because the only perfect being was Jesus Christ. And on top of living in an imperfect world, there's so much to compare. There's so much to, see and flaws. And if you look close enough, you'll see exactly what you want to see. If you're looking for an opportunity to say, oh man, I think she's cheating, the enemy is going to put an opportunity in your life that may not be quite on that line of, oh man, she's cheating, but it's enough to draw something from it and put it in your head and give you anxiety and make you feel stressed out about it. So just kind of not necessarily look on the surface, because a deep relationship and understanding of the person's flaws and actions is a great way to be able to reassure them. But when it comes to like tiny things, and it comes to things that you just really need to trust in the faith of God and the faith of your significant other, just don't dig deeper than the hole goes. You might find something that you wish you hadn't, or something that isn't even there. And with Brooke, this was a big problem, because she naturally kind of sways towards guys hanging out with guys. That's fine. I just like to meet them. I like for us to have a friendship, because if they're going to be around my girlfriend all the time, I'd like to be around them too. I'd like to get to know them. I'd like to grow with them. And being a leader and being in ministry, I want to bring everybody I can closer to God. And I can't do that if I don't know her friends, just like she can't do that for my friends that are females if she doesn't know my friends that are females. So she hangs out with a lot of guys. So when we first started dating, she had all these guy friends, and I was like, okay, I just came out of a bad relationship where things really weren't working out because of guys, and it really stressed me out, So I was looking for what my last relationship had as a problem in this relationship, and things that I thought were red flags shouldn't have even been red flags. I don't know this girl. At this point, I didn't know this girl. I didn't know, what her morals were, what she had behind it, who these people were to her. I had nothing to draw conclusions from. But because of the dirt I had in my old relationship, I brought it into this new one, saw she was hanging out with all these guys, and was like, got to be something there. She's got to like one of them. She's got to, she's got to want to be with one of them. And it surprised me when she only wanted to be with me. But I lived in a lot of stress and anxiety because I was looking for something that just was not there. And you just got to trust God that the imperfections you see are not as big as they seem. But yeah, I think that's good for number 4. Number 5, the final one, it says, never compare. James 3:16, I'll give you this one, says, for where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder in every vile practice. Comparison is a great way to bring discouragement upon any situation, any person, or anything in our lives. You go on Instagram and you're scrolling and you see a guy who's your age or even younger than you, and he's jacked. Tristan Lee, he just turned 18. I'm 19. Dude's huge, and it makes you think, dang, why am I not there? Why, I bet my girlfriend would like them more. I bet so and so would like them more. I bet if I looked like them, I'd have more friends. And comparing ourselves to the way God made other people is neglecting the blessings that God has given us when making us specifically the way we are. And it's the same thing for our significant other. If we compare them to, other girls that may be pretty, it's not bad to say that other girls are pretty. It's just like it's not bad for her to say that other guys are handsome. It's a trait that is visual. I can see it. It's not like this big secret. But comparison kills, dude. If you sat there and took your significant other and obviously compared them to someone who has all this plastic surgery and stuff, in the world it'd be like, dang, that's hard to deal with. But if you compare, your relationship and the person you're with to a bad experience or the last bad relationship you were in, it really makes you feel like, dang, this is awesome. God has gifted me with this. God has blessed me with this relationship. And all the prayers that I've been praying for because of this past one that didn't work out, he answered them right now with this person. You just gotta not compare them to other people, but compare them to past experiences. And that's pretty much all. I mean, relationships are hard, one way or another. They always are. But these are 5 tips that can help you out when it comes to a new relationship, a current relationship that you've been in for a while, whether you're a teen, an adult, or starting your very first relationship as a believer or in general. These will help you out, I promise, because they help me out now that I've found them out. But if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. I'm out. Peace.